Pleasurable good morning, all of you. I feel delighted on meeting you all again on this worthy platform. Namaste, Sampath sir, and thank you for providing me this wonderful opportunity of sharing my knowledge with these super master techie kids. I would like to congratulate Amala madam, Sukanya madam, and Saujanya madam for extending their restless support to Sampath sir for taking the spoken English program progressing in a great way. Children, you are all blessed to reach this platform. Keep learning and keep rocking. I'm here with you just because of Elta Varangalurban. My deepest gratitude to Sampath sir for giving me the sublime opportunity of learning digital technology on this prestigious platform. Sir, I wish you wholeheartedly that you succeed in your future endeavors. Shall I share the screen, sir? इसको presentation. Is it visible, Rahul?
Yeah, ma'am, it's visible.
Yeah, okay. Good morning, children. If you are ready, let's get started. Listen to me with peace of mind and do concentrate on each and every slide. Whenever you need, you take the screenshot. First, listen carefully and try to understand. If you have any doubt, you can ask me. Later, you take the screenshot of the slides that you need to take the notes and to prepare for it. Okay, get ready with your pen and paper. So today we are going to learn voice. I am Shayanaz, School Assistant English, working at ZPHS Chilkur Mandal, Suryapeta District of Telangana. You have been learning since 20 more than 20 days the spoken English course. I learned and knew from Amala madam that you are progressing in a great way. Students are very active, madam. You don't worry, she has been saying. And congratulations, all of you, for going forward to learn one or two more weeks. Yes. Children, look at these sentences. Is it visible, Rahul?
Yes, ma'am. Visible.
Okay. Look at these sentences. Observe them carefully. Guess the meaning of these two sentences. You have learned so many things in previous classes, like subject and predicate, subject, verb, and object, and what are the different parts of speech of a sentence. And you also learn tenses so that you can easily understand the meaning of the given sentences. Look at the first sentence. He killed a snake. What is the subject of this sentence? Please do answer. What is the subject of this
He.
sentence?
He, ma'am.
He, yes. What is the verb?
Killed.
Killed.
Killed, ma'am.
What is the action verb? That means action word in this sentence?
Killed.
Killed. Who killed?
He. A
He
person.
killed. He killed. Yes. Who is the doer of the action here? Who did the action?
Snake.
He.
Who did the action?
He.
Yes,
He.
he did the action. Now look at the second sentence. He was killed by a snake. Read again. He was killed by a snake. Here, who did the action? What is the action here?
Snake.
Same killed. Who
He.
did the action
Killed.
here?
Snake.
Snake.
Snake, ma'am.
Snake killed.
Snake
He.
killed.
Snake
He, ma'am.
killed. He
He,
killed.
ma'am. He,
He
ma'am.
killed or
He
he
killed
was
a
killed?
snake.
He was killed.
ma'am.
Yes, in the first sentence, he killed a snake. Right? It is in the simple past tense. Now look at the second sentence. He was killed by a snake. Who did the action here?
Snake.
Snake.
Yes, very good. Snake killed him. Here he is not the doer of the action. Here he is the receiver of the action. The doer of the action is snake. Here the only difference is in the first sentence killed is written, and in the second sentence what is the verb here?
Was, ma'am.
Was killed.
Was.
Was added to the verb to the
Was.
first sentence.
Was.
Was. What is was? In which list does it come?
Accident.
What is was? In which list do you find this word?
Past
Helping
tense.
verb.
Sorry?
Auxiliary verb.
Yeah, very good. It is an auxiliary verb. Among the auxiliary verb, which form is it?
Past. B form.
Yeah, very good. It is a B form. That means in the first sentence, the verb killed is there. In the second sentence, one more B form is added to the verb, so that the whole meaning of the sentence changed. That means the doer of the action was given importance here. Here the focus is on verb. Kill changed as was killed, so that the doer of the action became the receiver of the action. Don't confuse. Kill changed as was killed. That means one more be form is added to the verb, so that the meaning has been changed. The doer became the receiver of the action. Now look at the next set of sentences. Raghava chased a dog. What is the subject of this sentence?
Ma'am, Raghava.
Yes, Raghava is the subject of the sentence. Do active in the class. Don't be passive. Whenever you will be listened to a question, ready to answer, whether it is right or wrong. Okay, yes, Raghava is the subject of this sentence. And what is the action done by Raghava?
Chased.
Chased. Very good. Who did the action here?
Raghava.
Raghava did the action. Here the receiver is a dog. Now look at the next sentence. Raghava was chased by a dog. Raghava was chased by a dog. Here what is the subject of this sentence?
Dog.
What is the subject of this sentence?
Dog.
Here Raghava only, na?
Raghava.
Yes, Raghava is the subject, but who did the action here?
A dog. Dog.
Dog did the action, not the Raghava. In the first sentence, Raghava did the action, whereas in the second sentence, Raghava is the receiver of the action. Doer of the action became the receiver of the action without changing its position. How? The difference is only in the verb. In the first sentence, the verb is chased. Now in the second sentence, one more again a be form is added. Chased became was chased, so that the doer of the action became the receiver of the action, even though it is written in the same subject place. Yes, don't get confused and don't get warm your minds. Be peaceful. The normal word order of an English sentence is, what is the normal word order of an English sentence?
Subject plus verb plus object.
Yes, subject plus verb plus object. Only two are talking. Subject plus verb plus object. Good. Let us know the be forms, and among those it is auxiliary verbs. How many auxiliary verbs are there?
27.
Recall it.
24.
27 auxiliary. Yes, not 24, 27.
27.
27 auxiliary verbs are there. Here are these are written in a particular way so that I can sing it as a song. Listen to me. Am is or was were. Am is or was were. Be been being. Be been being. Does do did has have had. Does do did has have had. Will would shall should can could may might. Will would shall should can could may might. Ought to used to must need and dare. Ought to used to must need and dare. Children obviously like songs, so I prepared this auxiliary verbs, all the 27 auxiliary verbs as a song. All my school children love to sing this song so that we can remember them. The child can remember them in a particular way. That means be forms and present and past tenses and also in do forms and have forms and modals. You know all about these. Zaroja ma'am had taken the class, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Now we are going to concentrate on B forms. In the first four examples, you have understood that one more B form is added to the verb to change the doer of the action to the receiver of the action. Let's concentrate on these be forms: am, is, or present forms, was, were, past forms. Be, been, being are used, mainly used in the voice only. They are not the future auxiliaries. They are used in passive forms in the voice itself. Let's concentrate on these eight be forms: am, is, or was, were, be, been, being. Yes, let's move on to the verb because we have just understood the doer of the action to the receiver of the action is just changing in the verb. Let's know the properties of verbs. Verbs have five properties: voice, mode, tense, person, and number. You know well about tense. How many tenses are there?
Three types.
Ma'am, three tenths, ma'am.
Yes, three main tenses. Again, each tense is divided into four tenses. So that we have altogether 12 tenses. Right?
Yes, ma'am.
Hello? Yes. What do you know about person? What do you know about person? Person in the sense the first person, the second person, and the third person. I, we, you, they, he, she, it. I is the first person singular. We is the first person plural. You is the first person singular and plural as well. He, she, it is third person singular. They is third person plural. I, we, you, they, he, she, it. First person, second person, and the third person. It is about person. And number. Number in the sense singular and plural in number. Like dogs is the plural, dog is a singular. According to the number of the subject, we change the auxiliary verb and the form of the verb also. So that they have five properties: voice, mode, tense, person, and number. It is mode is the new to you. Let's know what is mode. What is the property of mode of verb? It has three modes here in the brackets. You can observe three modes of verb: indicative, the first is indicative, which is the most common mode of a verb. We use this mode to ask questions or to express opinions and facts. The most general sentences we use are in indicative mood and imperative. Imperative, you know about imperative sentences, orders and commands. The second mode is imperative, which we use for commands, requests, and permission. We use the verb in imperative mode for commands, requests, and permissions. The third is subjunctive mode, which is the least common. The highest common mode is indicative, next imperative, the least common is subjunctive. We use this mode to express mental conceptions that are hypothetical, imagined, and desired. It is often used in if clauses, imaginary sentences. So the most common use of verb, the mode of verb is indicative, next for orders, imperative, and for imaginary sentences or if clauses, it is subjunctive. This is about mood. Verbs have five properties: voice, mood, tense, person, and number, singular and plural, first person, second person, and the third person, and 12 tenses. And mode, there are three modes. Now, here we are concerned with voice. Today we are going to learn about voice. We are going to learn voice. Let's know what is voice. Voice is the form of a transitive verb which shows whether the subject is doer of the action or the receiver of the action. Voice is the form of a transitive verb which shows whether the subject is the doer or the receiver of the action. Let's know what is a transitive verb and intransitive verb. And briefly, transitive verb used with a direct object, person or thing. It answers the question what or whom. For example, cats eat rats. Cats eat rats. Here, rats is the direct object. Whom the cats eat? Rats. What are eating rats? Cats. So, transitive verb used with a direct object. Voice is the form of a transitive verb. An intransitive verb used without direct object. It does not need an object for expressing complete meaning. For example, birds fly. Here there is no direct object. Even though this sentence conveys the complete meaning, birds fly. The ability of birds is shown here. A direct object. It is called, here the fly is called intransitive verb. But voice is only the concern with transitive verb. If the sentence, if we want to change the voice from one to other, we need a transitive verb. That means the sentence has to be a direct object, whether it is a person or a thing. Okay, then get your warm minds, be peaceful, take a deep breath, don't get confused. I'll give you a clear cut understanding. Here voice is of two types. We have two kinds of voices. One is active voice and the second is passive voice. What are the two types of voices?
Active voice,
Hello?
active voice,
Active voice and passive voice.
Yes, active voice and passive voice. Active and passive are the opposite words. Active and passive are the opposite words. Let's know what is active voice and what is passive voice. Active voice. If the subject of a statement is doer of the action, if the subject of a statement is the doer of the action, the sentence is said to be in active voice. He killed a snake. In the first sentence, you said that he is the subject and he is the doer of the action. He killed a snake. If the subject of a sentence is doer of the action, then that sentence is said to be in active voice. Here, for example, birds build nests. What is the subject of this sentence? Hello?
Bird.
Birds. Yes, birds is the subject of this sentence. And what is the action done by these subjects?
Build.
build,
Build. Yes. What is the doer of this action? Build. Who is doing
to,
this action?
Bird, ma'am.
Bird.
bird,
Yes, birds. Birds. The doer of the action is in the subject's place. This sentence is said to be in active voice. Here, the subject is active. So, this sentence is said to be in the active voice. The doer of the action is in the subject's place. That is called active voice. Let's move on to the passive voice. If the subject of a sentence receives the result of the action or the receiver of the action, the sentence is said to be in the passive voice. It is generally preferred when the doer of the action is unknown or not important, or the action is given focus. Here, if the subject is doer of the action, that is called active voice. If the subject of the sentence is receiver of the action, that is called passive voice sentence. Here, the subject will be passive. Look at the example. My purse has been stolen. My purse has been stolen. What is the subject of this sentence?
My.
my,
Purse. My purse.
Purse.
My itself is not the subject. My purse. సబ్జెక్ట్ అంటే ఇట్ ఈస్ నాట్ ద సింగిల్ వర్డ్. ఎంత పొడుగైనా ఉండొచ్చు. అది నౌన్ ఫ్రేజ్ అయితే చాలా పొడుగ్గా ఉంటుంది. సబ్జెక్ట్ అంటే ఇట్ ఇస్ నాట్ ద ఫస్ట్ వర్డ్ ఆఫ్ ద సెంటెన్స్, బట్ దట్ గివ్స్ అ కంప్లీట్ మీనింగ్. మై పర్స్, సపోజ్ మై రెడ్ పర్స్ అన్నాను అనుకోండి, దట్ ఈస్ మై రెడ్ పర్స్ ఈజ్ ద సబ్జెక్ట్. మై న్యూ పర్స్ అన్నాను అనుకోండి, మై న్యూ పర్స్ ఈజ్ ద సబ్జెక్ట్. Not the single word, it has to give a complete meaning. My purse is the subject here. What is the action done here?
Stolen.
has been
What is the action done here? Verb. What is the verb in this sentence?
Stolen.
stolen,
Stolen is the verb. Is my purse a doer of the action? Do you know the meaning of stolen?
yes, teacher,
Yes,
Yes,
steal,
ma'am.
stole, stolen. Dangalinchudam.
ah,
Who did the action here? Is it there in the
Someone.
sentence or not?
No,
Someone.
ma'am.
No,
Yes,
ma'am.
it is not given here. It is someone. That means doer of the action is not given importance. Or else we do not know the doer of the action. But here it is given importance to the receiver of the action. Who received? Who received my purse? My purse is the receiver of the action. Stolen. The action is stolen. The receiver is my purse. So the receiver of the action is given importance and is written in the subject's place. Here we do not know who stole it, or else it is not important. And here the verb stolen is given focus. It is important that my purse has been stolen. It doesn't matter that who stole it. Who has stolen it, it doesn't matter. But my purse has been stolen. Here the doer of the action is given importance and is written in the subject's place, so that this sentence is said to be in the passive voice. Okay? Shall I move on to the next slide?
Yes, ma'am. Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
don't get confused. It will be more clear in later slides. Here you read 12 tenses. Each example of each tense is said to be in active voice because subject will be given importance. Can you write many sentences with all the 12 tenses?
Yes, ma'am.
Hello? Yes, you can write many sentences using those 12 tenses. All the sentences that you write are in active voice because the subject will be given importance. So that all in active voice. And for the examination purpose, we have to change it into passive voice. Later we'll know the importance of passive voice and why do we use this passive voice. To change the active voice sentence into passive voice sentence, we have five changes. The five changes, these following five changes, will be taken place to change active voice sentence into passive voice. Let us know one by one. The object in the active voice becomes the subject in the passive voice. The object in the active voice becomes the subject in the passive voice. That means the last word subject, verb, object, SVO is the active voice sentence. If you want to change this active voice sentence into passive voice, you have to get the object into subject's place. That means it changes as VOVS. Got my point?
Ma'am, can you give any example?
Sure, definitely. In the latter slides, you will be more clear. Don't get confused, just try to understand. S plus V plus O changes as O plus V plus S. Next, the second change, suitable be form is added before the verb. As you knew from the previous sentences, in the initial sentences, he killed a snake. He was killed a snake. Be form, the suitable be form is added before the verb. It is the second form of the verb is used. Irrespective of the form of the verb in the active voice, you have to change into V3. Next, the fourth is preposition by is generally used before the object. Before the object, use the word by. The last change, the subject in the active voice becomes the object of the sentence. In the first change, object became the subject. In the last change, subject became the object. There are five changes. Look at the I'll give you example with all the changes. Yes, subject object changes as the subject. Next, suitable be form is to be added before the verb. Next, verb should be in past participle form V3. Next, preposition by is to be added before the object. Next, subject into object's place. SVO becomes OVS, and then be form is to be added, and then verb should be changed as V3 compulsory. All the passive sentences contain only V3 form of the verb. Next, before V3 we generally use the word, the preposition by. Next, there will be changes in pronouns also. If in the subject's place I, we, you, or he, she, it will be there, they change as the objective case. These are the subjective cases and these are the objective cases. I suppose in the subjective case, if you want to change its position to the object place, it changes as me. I becomes me and we becomes us. You remains us. It does not change. They becomes them, and next he becomes him. She becomes her. It remains it. I, me, we, us, you only, they, them, he, him, she, her, it remains it only. I'll show you again the slides. Yes, how the verb changes from active to the passive. How killed became was killed. How chased became was chased. Let us go to this verb changes table. You know there are 12 tenses, but we have only 8 passive forms. We have only 8 passive forms. Here you can observe there are 4 tenses which do not have passive forms. Those are present perfect continuous, past perfect continuous, future perfect continuous. 3 perfect continuous tenses and future continuous tense. These 4 tenses do not have passive forms. That means we are going to learn only 8 tenses into passives. We have only 8 passive forms, 3 present forms, 3 past forms, 2 future forms. Only have passive forms. Got my point?
Yes, ma'am.
12 tenses, but only 8 passive sentences we can get. 3 perfect continuous tenses: present perfect continuous tense, past perfect continuous tense, future perfect continuous tense, and future continuous tense. These 4 tenses do not have passive forms. We have 12 tenses, but only 8 passive voice sentences. Here, what is the structure of the present simple tense? Subject plus V1 plus object. Am I right? Hello, I am
Yes,
recalling
ma'am.
you each and everything, the tenses and the verbs and the auxiliary verbs. Be active. Yes, the structure of the present simple, the structure of the present simple is subject plus V1 plus object. Here we are concerned with the voice, and voice is the form of a transitive verb. Here the verb is given focus, so let us better understand the changes from active voice to the passive voice. V1 changes as am or is or plus V3. Here in active voice V1 is there, but in passive voice it is V3. You can find all V3s in passive voice. All V3s, irrespective of the verb form of the verb in the active, it changes as V3 only. It is the verb change. Subject changes into object, the object changes into subject, and the suitable be form is added here. If the sentence is present simple tense, before this verb, change this verb into V3, and before the verb add the suitable be form, whether am or is or are, because these three only is. These three used in present simple tense. Am goes with I, and goes with he, she, it, and are goes with we, you, they. Getting my point or not?
Yes, ma'am.
I am, he or he is, she is, it is, you are, they are, we are, like this. These three only present auxiliary verbs or present be forms. And in present continuous tense, the structure is subject plus am or is or are plus V4. You better know the structure of tenses. Subject plus am or is or are plus V4. Again, in the passive voice, am or is are used according to the subject, and then one more be form is added. That means V4 in the ing form of V4 changed as being. Again, this V4 changed as V3. Verb changed as V3. 5 changes from active to the passive, subject into object, object into subject, and then suitable be form is added before the verb and verb into V3. Present perfect tense. The structure of the present perfect tense is subject plus has or have plus V3, and it changes as been. One more be form is added. Been, that is been. Has becomes has been, have becomes have been, according to the subject, the number of the subject. And again, this V3 remains V3. Present perfect continuous tense does not have passive form. Now move on to the past tense. Past simple. V2. That means past tense. It changes as was or were plus V3 because was or were or the be forms used in past tense. Was or were plus V3. And past continuous tense. Who are making noise? Who are making noise? Past continuous tense. Was or were plus V4. Here, was or were plus being plus V3. Ing form is changed as being again. Here you can observe in the present continuous also. Ing form changed as being. Here also ing form changed as being. Again V4 into V3. Next, past perfect tense. The structure of the past perfect tense is subject plus had plus V3 plus object. Has or have became has been and have been in present perfect. In past perfect, had becomes had been plus V3. Has, have, had go only with V3. Past perfect tense does not have passive form. Next, future simple. MA here means modal auxiliary. Will, would, shall, should, can, could, may, might, ought to, used to, must, need, dare. These are the modal auxiliaries. Any modal auxiliary goes with only V1 in active sentence. For passive, one more B form, the suitable B form is added. Modal auxiliary plus B plus V3. Again here V1 changed into V3. Will be, can be, might be, like that. Be is added to the auxiliary verb. Next, future continuous tense does not have passive form. The last one, future perfect tense. Modal auxiliary plus have plus V3. Have again take been. Here am is or plus V4 being. Ing form changes into being. Has or have been, had also been, and ing form changes as being. Modal auxiliary plus be. These are the three main changes you can observe. You have to remember, you have to concentrate on this. Ing form as being, has, have, had, take been with them, has been or have been or had been. Next, modal auxiliary will becomes will be. Will have becomes will have been. These are the major changes. Do not get confused. I'll give each and every example. Let us take a verb, for instance, take. Take. If a verb in an active sentence, this take verb in an active sentence, how does it change into passive in various tenses? Suppose it is take or takes, changes as am or is or are plus taken. That means I take changes as I am taken. Am or is or are plus taking changes as am or is or are plus being plus taken. That means ing form changed as being and the verb taking changed as taken. Here you can observe all taken forms. That means all V3 forms in passive, irrespective of the forms of the verbs in active voice, whether it is V1 or V4 or V3 or V2, whatever the form may be in the active voice, but it has to be changed into V3, past participle form of the given verb. Next, has or have taken changes as has been or have been taken. Next, took, was or were taken. Was or were taking changes as was or were being taken. Here, ing form changed as being, and again the taking verb changed as V3 taken. Had taken becomes had been taken. Next, modal auxiliary will, can, or may. Will be taken, can be taken, may be taken. Next, modal auxiliary plus have plus taken. Will have been taken, like that. Been is added. For has or have and had, been is added. And ing form changed as being. And for modal auxiliary, it takes be with it. Here are the 8 tenses that we can write passive forms. 3 perfect continuous tenses and future continuous tense do not have passive forms. The rest of the 8 tenses are these: simple present tense, present continuous tense, present perfect tense, past simple tense, past continuous tense, past perfect tense, future simple tense, future perfect tense. Here, the upper side of this ellipse is active voice structure. Active verbs. All are active verbs. And downwards, passive verbs. V1 changes as am, is, or V3. And here, am or is or plus V4. Here, being plus V3. Again, has or have changes as has or have been plus V3. And V2 changes as was or were plus V3. These are the tenses and the helping verbs that we use in passive voice. Next, past continuous tense. The upside is active voice. All the red structures are active voice verbs, active verbs. All the blue colored are passive verbs. Was or were plus V4. Here V4 changes as being plus V3. Was or were plus being plus V3. Past perfect. Had becomes had been. V3 remains as V3. And will becomes will be. Will have becomes will have been. These are the changes that you have to observe and concentrate. V1 am is or plus V3 and V4 being plus V3 has or have take been and V2 was or were. Here again V4 being, had been, will be, can be, will have been. These are the changes. In the ellipse, upwards are active verbs, downwards are passive verbs. Yes, now here you go with the examples. Let us observe the 5 changes that we have already learned, how they taken place. Present simple tense. The tense wise, let us observe. Here is an example. Children fly kites. Children is the subject. Fly is the verb and kites is the object. Children is the doer of the action. Who are flying kites? Who fly kites?
Children.
Yes, children. It is the doer of the action. So that this sentence is said to be in the active voice. How can we change it into passive voice? We have to make 5 changes to make this active sentence into passive. Let us through all these 5 changes. First, get the object into subject's place. The object kites is got to the subject's place. Note the first change. It is the first change. Get the object to the subject's place. Okay, and the second change is add suitable be form to the verb. The verb is in V1 form. The verb is in V1 form. That means in present simple tense. If it is in present simple tense, we have to use am or is or are plus V3. Here it is V1, isn't it? Children fly kites. It is V1. V1 changes as am or is or are plus V3. So what is the suitable B form then? Here we can use 3 B forms but not all the 3. Either of these only we have to use. So what is the subject? Children. Children is it plural or singular? Is the subject plural or singular?
Singular.
Ma'am,
Singular, ma'am.
Plural. Subject is plural here, right? And our subject is kites. Our subject now it is kites because we have got the object into subject's place. That is kites. Is the word kites singular or plural?
Ma'am, plural.
Plural, yes, very good. Here V1 changes as am or is or plus V3. Done, it is V3, but what shall we use? Whether it is am or is or are. Our subject is kites. Kites am, kites is, kites are. Which is the suitable B form?
Or ma'am.
Hello?
Kites or ma'am.
Very good. Kites are. That is what the second change. We have to use the suitable be form according to the subject we have got from the previous sentence. Irrespective of this given sentence, we have to consider the subject we have taken from the active voice sentence. Kites is plural. Among am, is, or we have to choose or, because the subject is plural and the verb is in present simple tense. V1 becomes am or is or are plus V3. So the suitable B form is are. It is the second change. The first change is we got the object into subject place, and the second is we have to add a suitable B form here or the second change. And the third is change the verb into V3 form. So here what are the forms of the verb fly? Say all the forms. Hello. Hello.
Ma'am, can you repeat again?
Yes, say the forms of this verb fly. What is its present, past, participle?
Fly, flew, flown.
Yes, fly, flew, flown, flowing, flows. Fly, flew, flown, flowing, flows. You have to say all these five forms in a single breath. You practice many number of irregular verbs in such a way. In a single breath, you have to say all the five forms of a verb. Fly, flew, flown, flowing, flows. So here V1 fly changed as V3. It is the third change. The first, we got the object into subject's place, and according to the subject, we chose, according to the subject as well as the tense of the verb, we chose the right be form or, and the third change is we changed the verb into V3 form. It is the third change. Kites are flown, and next before the object we use generally preposition by. It is the fourth change. First change and the second change, third change and the fourth change. Now the last change is get the subject into object's place. These are the five changes to make an active voice sentence into passive voice sentence. The first one, get the object into subject's place. Repeat after me. Get the object into subject's place. Hello. Repeat
Yes,
after
ma'am.
me. నాతో పాటు చెప్పండి 5 changes. Get the object into subject's place. Number 1, get the object into subject's place.
Get the objects into subject place.
Next, add suitable be form. Add suitable, second, add suitable be form before the verb. Hello, you are not active, you are all passive.
Add be
Yes, add be form before the verb. Hello.
add be form before the word.
Yes, verb, not
Add be
word.
form before the
Verb.
word.
Yes, the third is change the verb into V3 form.
Change the B3 wording.
Change the
into
verb
V3 form.
into V3 form. Next, the fourth is
Change the verb.
into V3 form. Next, the fourth is add by before the object.
Add by before the object.
Add by before the object.
Yes, the fifth is get the subject into object's place.
Get the subject into
Get the
object
subject
place.
into.
Yes, the simple two changes you can easily observe: get the subject into object's place and get the object into subject's place. Right?
Subject
Here
place.
you can identify with these cross marks. Subject changed as the object and object changed as the subject. And here the fly is active verb. Fly is active verb and fly changed as are flown. Here you can observe fly, suppose it is V1, changed as are flown. V1 changed as here are flown. Fly changed as are flown. Fly is the active verb, are flown is the passive verb because it is the receiver of the action. Here kites is the receiver of the action, not the doer of the action. Here children is the doer of the action. Here kites is receiving the action. Whereas children are the doers. They are passive here. If the doer of the action is active and in the subject's place, that sentence is said to be in the active voice. If the receiver of the action is in the subject's place, that is said to be in the passive voice. Got my point?
Yes, ma'am.
Have you understood now?
Yes.
Yes, these
No,
are the
Yes,
ma'am.
five
ma'am.
changes. Not understood?
No, ma'am.
Okay. We have to change this active sentence into passive sentence in the examination point of view. For this, we have to make five changes. Number one, object into subject's place. Get the object into subject's place. What is the object of this sentence? Kites. Get into subject's place. It is the subject of this sentence. It is not the object of this sentence. It is the subject of this sentence, but it is the receiver of the action, not the doer of the action. As it is the doer of the, not the doer of the action, it is called passive sentence. But here the children is the doer of the action. They fly kites. Who fly kites?
Children.
Yes,
Children.
children is active here. That means doer of the action is active here. So that this sentence is active and we are changing into passive. Get the object into subject's place. The first change. And add suitable be form. How do we use this be form? According to the verb, according to the tense of the verb. The verb is in present simple tense. How can we say? Subject plus V1 plus object. It is the structure of present simple tense. So, kites is plural. Or the be form, the suitable be form for present simple tense are am or is or are. As the subject is plural, the suitable be form is are. And second change it is. The third is verb has to be changed into V3 form. Fly, flew, flown. Flown is its V3. Compulsory, you have to change the verb into V3 form while changing the active sentence into passive. Fly changed as flown. The totally fly, simple present tense fly changed as are flown. As the subject is plural, we used are. If it is kite here, singular, we use is. Children fly kite, you suppose. If it is singular, and if we get it as our subject, kite is singular, then we have to use is. Except am, is, or, no helping verb, no be form is added in present simple tense. That means when the verb is in V1 or V5. It is the third change. Next, the fourth change is before the object add the preposition by. Four changes. The last change is subject into object's place. This cross mark says you that object and subject of exchanging their positions. Object is coming to the subject's place, subject is coming to the object's place. This is the basic change. Next, the verb change. The verb, according to the tense, we have to use the be form, right be form, not other any auxiliary verb, only those 8 be forms, the suitable be form, and verb into V3. And simply add by before the object. Got my point now? Is it clear now?
Yes, teacher.
Yes, well, let's have another example. Krishna sings a song. It is active sentence in the simple present only. But here, Krishna is singular subject. It takes V5. That means V1 plus SR ES. Sing, sang, sung, singing, sungs. Sing, sang, sung, singing, sings. Sings. Krishna sings a song. ఒక్క పాటనే బాగా పాడతాడు. Krishna sings a song. It is active sentence because Krishna is the doer of the action. Who is singing?
Krishna.
Yes, Krishna sings. Who sings? Krishna
Krishna.
sings. Krishna sings because it is the doer of the action. Krishna is the doer of the action, sing. So that we can say this sentence is active sentence. How can we change it into passive? What is the subject of this sentence?
Krishna.
Krishna. Take it as object. Next, what is the object of this sentence?
Song.
Song, ma'am.
A song. Get it as the first word of your sentence. Suppose you are changing this sentence into passive voice. The first thing you have to first you have to make it into 3 pieces. First you have to make this given sentence into 3 pieces. That is subject, verb, and then object. The first piece is Krishna, the second piece is sings, the third piece is a song. Now get that object, a song, to the subject's place. Here a song is the receiver of the action. We have got as the subject of our sentence. So it is the passive sentence because the receiver of the action is given importance here. The receiver of the action is written in the subject's place. Okay, it is the first change. Get a song into subject's place. Next, sings. As I told you just now, V1 or V1 plus S or ES. Again, it is in simple present tense. But it is in V1 plus S or ES form. Again, it changes as am or is or are plus V3. But our subject is a song. A song. What is the suitable be form? A song am, a song is, or a song are. Which is the correct one?
Is, ma'am.
Is. Yes. Again, and V3. Is. A song is. V3. Sing, sang, sung. Sung is the V3 of the verb sing. So sings changes as is sung. Is sung. Here you can observe V1 or V1 plus S or ES. Here we have it V1 plus S or ES. Changes as am or is or are plus V3. We have chosen the suitable be form is. Then verb into V3. Sings changes as is sung. It is the second change. 3 changes are completed. Object has been got into subject's place and suitable be form is added and verb is changed into V3 form. Next, the fourth is before the object we use preposition by. Lastly, it is the subject Krishna became the object of this sentence. Here, the receiver of the action, Asang. Again, it is the subject only, not the object. For this sentence, it is subject object, and for this sentence, it is subject only. A song is sung by Krishna. Here a song is given importance and the verb is given focus. A song is sung by Krishna. Here Krishna sings songs. Krishna is given importance. The doer of the action is given importance. Here the receiver of the action and the action is given focus. Understand? Hello?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, V1 or V5. That means V1 or V1 plus S or ES changes as am or is or are plus V3. Whatever the verb form may be, it changes into V3 compulsory in the passive voice. Let's move on to the next tense, that is present continuous tense. Present continuous tense. What is the structure of the present continuous tense? Subject plus am or is or are plus V4. It is the structure of this sentence. They are eating bananas. They is the subject, are eating is the verb, bananas is the object. It is the present continuous tense. This sentence is in present continuous tense. How can we say? With the help of this verb, are eating. Verb only says you at what time and who are doing the action and what time is it being done. They are eating bananas. Who are eating bananas?
They.
Hello. They are eating bananas. Yes, they are doing the action. The doer of the action is given importance, so that this is called an active voice sentence. Now let us try to change it into passive voice, just for the examination point of view only. Here, first change is get the object into subject's place.
Subject.
Yes, the first change. Next, are eating. Are eating. Use am or is or are. We have these three be forms in present tense. But which is the right one? Bananas am, bananas is, bananas are.
Bananas,
Which is the
bananas
right one?
are.
Bananas are.
Bananas are. You don't think that here are is there and we have to get are here. No way. We have to consider this subject that we brought from this sentence. If it is banana here, suppose, we have to use only is. They
Yes,
are
ma'am.
eating banana. You suppose they are eating banana. Then we have to write is here. Irrespective of the be form used in the given sentence, we have to consider the subject we are getting from the sentence. Got my point?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ఏ ఆబ్జెక్ట్ అయితే మనం తీసుకొస్తున్నామో అకార్డింగ్ టు దట్ నంబర్ ఓన్లీ వీ హ్యావ్ టు యూస్ ద బీ ఫార్మ్. ఇచ్చిన సెంటెన్స్ తో మనకు సంబంధం లేదు. అది ఏమైనా టెన్స్ ని తెలుసుకోవడానికి మాత్రమే ఉపయోగపడుతుంది. ఆఫ్టర్ నోయింగ్ ద టెన్స్ వీ హ్యావ్ టు యూస్ ద రైట్ బీ ఫార్మ్. సో హియర్ ద సబ్జెక్ట్ ఈస్ ప్లూరల్. సో among am or is or are, we have taken are. And next, ing form. As I told you earlier, ing form. Here, V4. Here the first one, R is taken. Next, V4, that means ing form. Eat, ate, eaten, eating, eats. What are the five forms of the verb eat? Can you repeat?
Eat,
What are the five forms of the verb eat?
eat,
Yes?
eat, ate, eating,
No? You missed V3?
Eaten.
Yes. Say in a single breath. all the five
eaten, eating,
forms.
eats.
Yes, eat, ate, eaten, eating, eats. Yes, here eating. V4 in the sense eating. Eating becomes being eaten. Being eaten. Eating becomes being eaten. Ing form changes as being. The verb eat changes as
Eaten.
V3 eaten. Yes. Or eating is the active verb. Or being eaten is the passive verb. These are the three changes. One, we got the object into subject's place and added the suitable be form being, added the suitable be form being, or and being.
Eating
Eating
changed
changes.
into V3 form.
Yes, eating changed into V3 form. These are the three changes. One, two, three. The fourth one is before the object we used by. And what about this them?
They became them.
Yes, they became them from this pronoun changes. They was in subject's place. Now we are getting it into object's place. When it changed its position from subject to the object, the subjective case to the objective case, they becomes them. Likewise, it changed as them. They becomes them. He becomes her. Sorry, he becomes him. She becomes her. I becomes me according to that pronoun changes table. Bananas are being eaten by them. Here, bananas, the receiver of the action is given importance. So that this sentence is said to be in the passive voice.
Passive.
Next, look at another example of the same tense. She is drawing a picture. She is drawing a picture. Who is drawing?
She.
Yes,
She.
she is drawing a picture. The subject is she, and this is the doer of the action. So this sentence is said to be in the active voice.
Active voice.
Let us change it into passive voice. Let us get the object, a picture,
Into
In the place of subject.
Into subject.
Yes, the first change. And the second is B
sub.
form. And second is B form. Second is B form. Yes, again it is B4, ing form. Ing form changes as being.
Being.
A picture is singular, so that we used is. Because this sentence is in present continuous tense. Only three auxiliary verbs are used in present tense. That is am or is or are. Among these three, as the subject is singular, we used is. So V form changed, ing form changed as being. Again, the V1 draw changed as its V3. What are the five forms of the verb draw? Hello.
Draw.
Drawing.
Draw is V1. What is its V2?
Draw and
No.
And
Draw, drew.
madam.
Drew like fly. It sounds like fly. Draw, fly, flew, flown. The same.
drawn.
Yes, draw, drew,
Drawing.
drawn,
Draw.
drawing, draws. Draw, drew, drawn, drawing, draws. Here, draw V1 changed as its V3. Is drawing became is being drawn. ఇక్కడ మనకు వర్బ్ V3 రావాలంటే ఏం చేయాలి? దీని ఇంగ్ ఫామ్ కూడా ఇక్కడ కనిపించాలి. The speciality of this voice is the tense does not change from active to the passive. Whereas in the reported speech, the tense changes. But in the voice, tense does not change. మరి ఇది సేమ్ టెన్స్ లో ఉంది అని చెప్పడానికి here ing form changes as being and V3. It is in the same tense, present continuous tense. Tense does not change from active to the passive. A picture is being drawn. 3 changes are completed. Now the fourth change is add by before the object. Now get the subject
She
into object
becomes
space.
her.
She becomes, not becomes, she becomes her. Okay, these are the 5 changes. Number 1, object into subject, suitable be form,
Before.
verb V3, add by, get the subject into object's place. These are the 5 changes. Object into subject, suitable be form, V3, by, and then subject into object's place. Got all the 5 changes? What is the
Yes,
first
ma'am.
change? What is the first change?
Object
Object
into subject.
becomes
Yes,
subject.
object into subject's place. Next, second.
B
Subject
form.
into object.
Yes, suitable be form.
V form.
Next.
V4 changes into V3.
Yes, change into V3. Change the verb form into V3. Next, the fourth.
Add by before object.
Add by before the object. Next, the last change.
Subject changes
The
into
changes
Yes,
to the
subject
object.
changes in subject comes into the object's place. If it is a pronoun, change its adjective pronoun. Shall I stop here, sir? Let's continue tomorrow. Children, you write down 10 sentences from each tense. From simple present tense and present continuous tense. So shall I stop or continue? Rahul?
Yeah, ma'am, you may go ahead. Guys, are you interested? Will you listen or will you listen?
Okay, let me take 2 more tenses so that you can practice today.
Okay, ma'am.
Let's move on to the past simple tense. Past simple tense. Here we started business. Verb form changed into V2. Who started business?
He.
He started business. He is the doer of the action. So this sentence is an active voice. Let us try to change it into passive. Let us get the object. What is the object?
business.
Business. First, we have to make it into 3 pieces. The subject piece, the verb piece, and the object piece. Next, get the object into subject's place. Business. Yes, here it is the past tense. That means already happened. Already happened. Here you can see V2. Happen means we have only two be forms that we can use in past tense. Was or were. Was or were. Only was or were. Not more than that. Was or were. If the subject is singular, we use was, as you know very well. If the subject is singular, use was. If the subject is plural, use were. Only 2 options in past tense. Was or were. The subject here, business, is singular or plural?
Ma'am,
Hello?
singular.
Singular. So
Singular,
that
ma'am.
was is used. Again, started. Started, as it is the regular verb, the same form we can observe. Started here, it is V2, and was started is V3. With the help of this B form, you can identify the verb whether it is V2 or V3, because both are with ed only. These are regular verbs. It is a regular verb. Started. Start, started, started, starting, starts. How can you identify whether it is? If we are saying it is V2, how can we say that it is V3? Yes, the only V form can differentiate to say whether it is V2 or V3. V2 is simply V2 form without any auxiliary verb with it, preceding it. But here, V3 is followed by a B form. It is called a passive verb and V3. This started is V3. This started is V2. It has no auxiliary verb or no any B form. Auxiliary verb in the sense, in the past tense you will get has or have. In the present perfect tenses you will get has or have or had. But here only it is V2. If it is followed by a B form, that is called V3. Any regular verb is followed by a B form, that is called a passive verb, that is V3. Was started is V3. Were painted. Painted is V3. Only painted is V2. Were painted is V3. Pictures were painted by me. Were painted is V3. V3 always followed by a B form, so that we can observe only simply started is V2, as the same form is followed by a B form is V3. Started became was started, and by is added before the object. He becomes him, I, me, we, us, you remains you, they,
She,
them,
her.
she, her, he, him, it remains it. So here he is there in the subject's place. It is subjective pronoun. If it is coming to the, if we are getting it to the object's place, we have to change its form from subjective form to the objective form. That is him. Business was started. Why it is was? Because the verb is V2. We have only two B forms that we can take for V2. That is was and were. Here the subject business is singular. So we used was. Was started by him. Let's have another example. I kicked pebbles. I kicked pebbles. What are the five forms of this verb? Kick.
Kick, kicked.
Uh, is it a
Kicking.
regular verb or irregular verb?
Irregular.
Irregular verb.
Regular verb.
Yes, regular verbs only take D or ED to make their past forms. Play, played, played, playing, plays. Kick, kicked, kicked, kicking, kicks. Regular verb. Regular verbs only take D or ED to make their past forms. Kick is the present form. If we add ED to it, it is called past form.
Past.
And it is regular verb. Regular verb. Kicked. Kicked. It is not kicked. D sound, not pronounce it as T. Here D pronounces as T. Kicked. I kicked pebbles. I kicked pebbles. Kicked is V2. Kicked is V2. Who kicked pebbles?
I.
Yes, I. You are the subject. I in the sense you only. You are saying I, that means you. You are the subject. I is the subject here. So that I is doing the action. I kicking the pebbles. I kicked pebbles. I did the action here. So that it is active sentence. Let us make it into passive. The object is pebbles. Get the pebbles into subject's place. Is pebbles plural or singular? Do you know the meaning of pebbles?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
Tiny
yes.
rocks.
Yeah, pebbles. Pebbles is the plural form, so that we use the suitable be form were. Again, kicked, 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 kicking, kicks. V3 is kicked. Here it is only kicked, but here it is
Were
followed
kicked.
by a B form. It is followed by a B form, so that we can say it is V3. V2 does not follow or take any B form. V2 does not take any B form. It is simply single word, that is V2. If it is followed by any B form, that is called V3, because both are written with same spelling and pronounces same. Were kicked. Kicked changes as were kicked. The suitable be form is added because the subject is plural. We took were because the sentence is in past form. Was are only the chances that we have to use. It is the plural subject. We used
Mummy.
were. Kicked. Kicked became kicked.
Ah,
Next. Yes.
must
Hello. Next, by is added before the object. And the subject is I, it became the object
me.
me. Yes, pebbles were kicked by me. Here we cannot say pebbles are kicked by me because it is not the present tense form. It is the past tense form. There are only two verb forms that we can use in the past tense, was or were. In the present tense, am or is or are. You got my point?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, was or were
Yes,
in
ma'am.
present and past tense. Next, let's have past continuous tense. With this, I will stop the class. Past continuous tense. Here, the subject, verb, and the object. Subject with was or were plus ing form plus object. It is the structure of past continuous tense. Subject plus was or were plus V4 plus object. Here the subject is Malavika was leading the match. Who were leading the match?
Mal.
Malavika.
Yes, Malavika is the doer of the action. So that this sentence is said to be in the
Active
active
voice.
voice. Let's change it into the passive voice. Get the object the match into the object's place.
Subject, please.
Subject's place. Get this object into subject's place. It became the subject. Next, it is the singular subject. Either was is used or were is used. Which
Was.
one? Was, because the subject is was. The subject that we brought from the given sentence. Not the given sentence subject. That the one which we brought from the given sentence is singular. So that we used was. Again, ing form changed as being. As to maintain the tense of the sentence, ing form changed as being. And lead. What are the 5 forms of lead?
Lead, leading.
Hmm.
lead.
Same
Read.
spelling, but like read. What are the 5 forms of read? READ?
Read, read, reading.
Hmm. Read, read, reading, reads. Only pronunciation difference. The same here. Lead, led, leading, leads. Was leading changes as was being led by Malavika. 5 changes. Object into subject's place. The suitable be form is added and verb changed as V3. By is added before the object and it is a noun.
Subject, please.
Malavika is a noun. So it does not change as any other word. Write it as it is. If it is a noun, write it as it is. If it is a pronoun, change it into its objective case. Got my point?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Next, let's have another example. You were carrying an umbrella. You were carrying an umbrella. Who were carrying an umbrella?
You.
Yes, you is the doer of the action because here you were carrying an umbrella. An umbrella is the receiver of the action. So this sentence is said to be in the active voice. Let's change it into active voice sentence into passive voice. An umbrella is the object. Get into subject's place. An umbrella. Is it singular or plural?
Singular.
Yes, you can
Singular.
observe were in the given sentence. You can observe were in the given sentence. According to the subject of that sentence, were is used. But we are getting here an umbrella. Is it singular or plural?
Singular, ma'am.
Yes, whether you
Singular,
is
ma'am.
singular or
Singular,
plural,
ma'am.
we use only were with you. Whether it is singular or plural, we use only were with you. But irrespective of the given sentence, we are taking our own be form that is suitable to the subject that we have brought from the given sentence. That is an umbrella. It is singular. Here were is there, but we should not take it. We should not consider it. We have to consider only the object that we are getting from the given sentence. An umbrella is singular, so that we have written was. And then inform, change it as being. Carry, is it a regular verb or irregular verb?
Irregular verb.
Is it?
Yes,
What are
ma'am,
its
because
five
were
forms?
is there in front of.
What are its forms? Five forms? Carry. Hello.
Name
What are? Huh?
carries, carrying,
Huh?
and
Carry, carried, carried, carrying, carries. Is it a regular verb or irregular verb?
regular.
Regular, ma'am.
Regular verb because we added ed, but y changes as ie. If there is a consonant before y changes as ie. It is a rule. It is the rule for y. If before y there is a consonant, here there is or, then y changed into ie while changing its form ie. Carry, C-A-R-R-Y, carry, C-A-R-R-I-E-D, carried, not Y-E-D, I-E-D. Y changes into I-E. If Y is followed by a consonant, it is a consonant, then Y changes as I-E while changing its form. Carry, carried, carried, carrying. Again carrying Y plus carries. C-A-R-R-I-E-S. Carries. So V3 is added. Was being carried. By is added before the object. You
You.
remains you only. There is no change in you and it. And I'm being carried by you. Okay, hope you all understood these two tenses, three and four tenses, right? Four tenses: present simple tense, present continuous tense, and past simple tense, past continuous tense. First two simple tenses, first two continuous tenses. Write 10 sentences with each tense: 10 with present simple tense, 10 with present continuous tense, 10 with past simple tense, 10 with past continuous tense. Write 10 sentences with each tense and change them into passive voice. Okay?
Okay, ma'am.
Yes, write 10
Yes,
sentences.
ma'am.
Create your own sentences and make sure that it should be transitive verb. Suppose I am going to school. I am going to school. Going here is not a transitive verb because school is not receiving any action. We can't change this sentence into passive. I am going to school. School is being gone by me. We can't say like that. So it should be a transitive verb. In the object's place, there must be a person or anything. Okay, make sure that it should be a transitive verb. Write 10 sentences with each tense. We have just completed 4 tenses: simple present tense and present continuous tense. Then past simple tense and past continuous tense. Both simple tenses and both continuous tenses. Write 10 sentences in each tense and change them into passive voice. If you have any doubts, feel free to ask me. Do you have any doubts?
No, ma'am.
Yes. The
No,
first the
ma'am.
first thing that you have to do is you should know n number of irregular verbs and their forms. చెప్పాను కదా ఫాస్ట్గా సింగిల్ బ్రెత్లో యూ హ్యావ్ టు సే ద 5 forms of an irregular verb. You have to be perfect in verb forms so that you can develop your vocabulary as well as you will be easily change them the sentences into passive. You must know the V3 form. For knowing the V3 form, you have to know all the 4 forms of that verb. You should know many number of irregular verbs. Okay, do concentrate on learning irregular verbs, at least 100, more than 100 number of irregular verbs and their forms. You have to say all the 5 forms in a single breath. Then only you can easily transform active voice sentence into passive voice sentence. If you know all these things but you don't know the V3 form of lead, or you don't know the V3 form of carry, or you don't know the spelling of its V3 form, then you will get no mark for this change. So that you have to be perfect in irregular forms. Learn more than 100 irregular forms and practice them to say all the forms of each verb in a single breath. Okay, so that you can develop your fluency also. If you say any verb in a single breath, all the forms in a single breath, you can develop your fluency. Word fluency also you can be developed.
వాటర్మెలన్ నాయే అనుకో మెర్లినారు.
Hello, shall I wrap up? Rahul,
Yes, ma'am.
shall I wind up?
Yes,
Yes,
teacher.
ma'am.
Thank you very much for paying
Yes,
heed to my words, and thank you for giving me this wonderful opportunity to share my knowledge with you. Okay, transform these sentences. Do practice. If you have any doubts, you feel free to, you can call me or message me. Okay, thank you, Sampath sir. Meet you all again. Till then, bye bye. Stay safe.
Thank you so much,
thank
ma'am,
you,
for
ma'am.
your fascinating session.
Thank you. Welcome. You're welcome.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much for your crystal clear presentation.
Thank you. You're welcome. Do practice. Then only I feel happy that you are practicing. You are making mistakes. Make
Okay, ma'am.
mistakes. Make
Yes,
mistakes.
ma'am.
Unless you make mistake, you can never ever learn anything. When can we make mistake? If we do, then only we can make mistake. If we make mistake, we can correct our mistakes. From our mistakes, we can learn. The thing that we learn from our mistakes can never ever be forgettable. Okay? Practice, make mistakes, and correct your mistakes. Bye. Okay,
Thank you,
Rahul, are
ma'am.
you there?
Yes, ma'am, I'm there.
Rahul, are you there?
Yeah, ma'am, I'm there.
Okay, shall I wind up?
Yeah, ma'am, definitely. Thank you so much. And Shayanaz madam, long
Mala
time.
madam, hi.
Hi, ma'am.
The program is being recorded now so that I'm not talking too much.
Okay, ma'am. Okay. You
Okay,
are
bye.
present.
Thank you.
You are presented very well, madam. Crystal clear with examples and with the forms, verb forms, all topics you are covered. Persons, tenses,
Yes, so
all the
that only
topics.
I chose this topic so that I can cover all items in two
Okay,
classes itself.
okay,
Okay,
ma'am.
thank you
Thank you.
very much. If they have any doubts, madam, give them my number.
Okay, ma'am. Sure, ma'am.
Okay, madam. Okay, bye.
Good morning, Shayanaz ma'am.
Manjula madam, hi, good morning.
Yeah, after a long time, you
Yeah.
again back. Yeah, ma'am, it's a detailed presentation and the changes while converting active into passive as explained in detail. And the changes in verbs and tense-wise pronouns and each and everything, every detail is added, ma'am. So very detailed presentation. Congratulations, ma'am.
Thank you, madam. Thank you. Have you been joining
And
regularly?
yeah, children, the Nana, just the ma'am, just a detailed presentation, but you have to practice, Nana, to avoid confusion. So lot of practice is needed. So then only so you can get an idea how to change the sentences. Okay, thank
Yes,
you.
it seems simple.
Good morning, Shayanaz madam.
Good morning, madam. Sorry I didn't get you.
Wonderful presentation, madam.
Is this Saujanya madam or Swapna
Swap,
madam?
Swapna madam. Swapna madam.
Okay, I can.
Uh, almost many topics you have covered. All the teachers have already said. Wonderful presentation, madam.
Thank you, ma'am. Martin, yes, screen share किधर गया?
अच्छा है ना
आप करना.
ऑफ करके शेयर तो
Rahul,
Yes, ma'am. Shall we wind up?
yes.
Yes, once again, thank you so much, Shainash ma'am, for your wonderful presentation. We have understood very well regarding the concept, what you have said, and thank you so much once again, ma'am, and happy to see you again.
Welcome, Rahul. Happy to listen to you again on this worthy platform.
Me too, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Bye, ma'am.
And guys, hope you understood today's class and